One thing led to another, and because of those actions, this neighborhood here on Briar Forest got help. September 3rd was supposed to be Sarah and Mosen's wedding day. But with Hurricane Harvey,
it brought us to tears.
Instead of trading vows, they traded days.
We just said there's no way we can celebrate a joyous occasion when all these people are losing so much.
We decided to just postpone it to November and just move on forward from that.
That brings us to today. The couple's selflessness inspired this. Their wedding planner instead planned relief efforts, organizing guests to volunteer. Little did she know she'd find her passion.
That idea ignited Recovery Houston, and it really allowed for complete strangers to get firsthand to be able to help.
Kat Creech, with 2 volunteers she found on the streets, co-founded Recovery Houston, getting hundreds of volunteers in just days.
We're demoing drywall, we're taking out the baseboards, we're pulling up wood floors.
Helping people like Jean Hickox, who lost her brother and couldn't leave Houston's airport to attend his funeral. She then lost her home and hope until this.
Just a bunch of volunteers helping individuals, a lot of Houstonians helping Houstonians.
I cried. I'm still, kind of a bit choked up about it.
Giving comfort through selfless love.
Just show up, bring your hearts, bring your hands.
We got Gessner close, we have Highway 6 close, Kirkwood close. There you go, ma'am, drive safely.
It's a simple gesture that's warming the hearts.
For 3 hours, well, God bless you.
And cooling the frustration of drivers.
I had one lady in tears yesterday. She said she's been driving for 4 hours, and she was really thirsty. So it was really good to help her.
These Bunker Hill neighbors,
there you go, George,
know that people's patience are being pushed, which is why some are putting their foot to the pedal.
Yesterday, 2.5 hours. Today, it's been about 30 minutes. So much better. And these people are giving water, so that's awesome.
It's just been all day long. It starts at about 5 a.m. and goes till about 3 a.m.
Tropical Storm Harvey clogged one of the major arteries of Houston, Beltway 8, causing bumper-to-bumper traffic on the surrounding roads, which Jack Cheney can see from his home.
It's just incredible how efficient our freeways are when they're up and running and clear, and you really get a greater sense of appreciation for the infrastructure that we do have when it's clear.
People are excited the northbound lanes of the Beltway are open after crews pumped the water out, but the southbound lanes and other roads now need repairs. So you may come across these go-givers.
Enjoy the drive safely.
Yeah.
Harvey may have left behind a mess, but the storm uncovered the human spirit of Houston, one that is strong no matter what.
Drive safely. Bye-bye.
Bill and Dominique, good evening to you. Tonight, all eyes are on the Brazos River as the water levels continue to come up here. And from what we are standing, we can see at least a dozen homes in the area already have several feet of water inside of them. And unfortunately, in the next 24 hours, this water level is expected to rise at least another 2 feet.
With an already swollen Brazos River continuing to rise, fear and uncertainty lingers for many living along its banks.
Wow. It's like the rain is gone, but I guess they said the worst part was going to be, like after the rain stopped.
Melissa De Leon has family friends who evacuated from this area days ago and weren't sure just how bad things had gotten yet.
We came down here to see how it looked like, and his house is already flooded.
For those who call this neighborhood home, now inundated with water, it's like reliving a nightmare. This is a very same community that flooded just last year during a flood event that destroyed nearly 600 homes, many here barely recovering.
I've been living here all my life, and I've never seen it this high from one year to the other.
With the Brazos sitting at nearly 54 feet, close to the same levels of last year's flood, even more concerning this go-round, it's expected to rise to 56 feet.
I try and be a positive thinker, so I'm trying to figure out where the value is in doing this again. We've been here before, and we have persevered, and we will persevere now.
County officials preparing with mandatory evacuations and a message to residents to follow those orders. As the sun sets today, many here unsure what tomorrow will bring as the water inches closer and closer.
And tragically, this flood event has proven deadly. 2 people have been killed here in Fort Bend County as a result. The county issuing a curfew now in place for midnight until 6 a.m. in the unincorporated areas through Wednesday. We're reporting live from Richmond. I'm Jonathan Martinez, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
This is Coco.
Now safely in their stalls where they belong, Dawn Chamorro, the owner of Isabella Farm, says she's grateful to have Coco and Nick back home.
I've been in Cyprus practically my whole life, and I would have never thought any of this would ever happen.
The pair of Arabian horses went for an unexpected late-night ride Wednesday after thieves kicked down a part of a fence.
There are shoe prints on some of those boards over there where they try to kick those down.
And broke onto the property before taking off with the pair.
They jump on both the horses and they just walk out very nonchalantly.
Security cameras were rolling the whole time, catching 2 of the 3 suspects riding off.
You feel very helpless at that moment, watching all that and just in shock.
Chamorro says it wasn't until almost 14 hours later someone spotted the horses not far down the road, left alone in the backyard of an empty home.
They went over there to see, took a picture, and they said, "Are these the horses?" I said, "Oh my God, yes, those are the horses."
The horses have since been checked out by a vet. Chamorro just happy to have them back.
In this industry, those horses get stolen. You don't see them again a lot of times. So I'm blessed, very blessed and thankful.
As for the thieves who took them, though, they're still out there. But Chamorro hopes not for long.
I think they're capable of doing much worse. And so I don't think these people should be out. I think they should be behind bars somewhere.
Bill and Dominique, we talked to Kemah Police. They say if the owners of Art of Coffee want to press charges, they can bring in the thief. But instead, the owners say they had compassion and they decided what the thief really needs, which they know well, is a second chance. The thief wasted no time, taking not 1, but 2 cash registers.
It was like yanked out, whatever. There was like cables everywhere.
Manager Jimmy Nieto found the broken glass and noticed the missing cash.
I really don't understand like how somebody could do that to the owners here, Bill and Jimmy. I mean, they're good people.
The coffee shop owner recognized the thief and his glasses immediately.
We're going to walk down the street and knock on the door and drag him out and teach him a real lesson.
But Jimmy also knew the man in his 20s had a hard life, an addiction, and really just needed a second chance.
The owners and staff would, instead of putting you in jail, would like to put you to work.
The Facebook post offering the thief a job went viral and is conditional.
There is a dress code.
Dress code, random drug tests, and this.
You and I will volunteer at a shelter so you can see that people have it far worse than us, but do not steal to get by.
At first, Jimmy, the manager, disagreed with the post.
Let's say I find this dude before they do, like we're going to be reporting a different story.
But as someone who was in a bad place when the owner gave him a job, Jimmy appreciates the unusual offer, which has not been accepted yet.
If he does, I expect a quick apology, but then I expect him to do his job and do it well.
A solemn ceremony to remember law enforcement officers who have died in the line of duty in Fort Bend County. 17 names, 17 lives honored, along with the families that remain.
This is the 7th year for us, and it still seems as though it was yesterday.
One of those remembered was Deputy John Norsworthy, a Fort Bend County Sheriff's deputy, killed in a car accident responding to a call in 2011. Norsworthy's father, John Sr., says his son died working in a profession he loved, but 7 years later, the pain of his loss remains.
You do it day by day, and you get to where you can bear it, but it really never changes. It's a void.
Another fallen hero was Chief Ernest Mendoza, chief of the Needville ISD Police Department.
He smiled all the time. That's what he wore. He also wore a badge that represented, the city that he served, but the smile that he gave everyone.
Mendoza also was killed in a car accident, hit head-on by a drunk driver in January of 2007. These families say that although pain still lingers from the loss of their loved ones, this annual ceremony helps them share that loss.
It is a great honor to represent our family and to see other families here that are hurting too. So this brings healing to our hearts.
In front of Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School, there's a memorial to the 17 people who were shot and killed. It stretches around the block. Candles, crosses, stuffed animals, and many handwritten notes. People have been coming to Parkland from all over to pay their respects. A constant, steady stream of mourners for nearly 6 weeks now.
This actually is a little bit healing for the community, I think. All the people coming in, showing their support, compassion in the air. Everyone understands that this is a time of healing.
Andrea Ingham came from Canada to see the memorial in person. This is how she chose to spend her spring break.
They're probably the most outspoken group of survivors in the history of the U.S. And I was just wanting to pay my respects more than anything.
Around Parkland, there are constant reminders about what happened on Valentine's Day. Many of the neighborhoods have put up signs and planted flowers in the shape of hearts. There are 17 of them directly across from the school. Of course, the students who were in the school that day don't need any reminders. It's something they'll never forget. And that's why so many of them have taken a stand against guns. They've already changed laws here in Florida, and they aren't done yet.
And this whole thing it is about guns.
Adam Buchwald is a junior at Stoneman Douglas. He was in the school the day of the shooting.
You could just hear gunshots, people running, people screaming.
Adam and his family moved to Parkland 3 years ago. Coincidentally, they used to live in Connecticut, just minutes away from Sandy Hook Elementary. They never thought they'd be living this nightmare again.
I could relate to both tragedies.
Nobody in their right mind would think something happened in this small, safe town that we had of Parkland.
Adam and his best friend Zach wanted to do something, so they created the website parentspromisetokids.org. They want moms and dads to download their contract and promise to only support legislative leaders who are in support of keeping kids safe.
Our main goal is to give children a voice at the ballot box. Anyone under 18 can't vote right now, so this is what we're doing, is we're targeting the parents so that the parents can promise their children that they will vote for these leaders who will focus on children's safety and not vote for leaders who are just going to take money from the NRA.
So far, they've had more than 1,000 parents participate and post their pictures on social media.
What parent would ever break a promise to their child? It's such a powerful movement.
Change is going to happen, and it's going to come from here, and it's going to come from the kids. You're going to see it, not just here, everywhere.
Reporting in Parkland, Florida, Jennifer Bauer, KPRC, Channel 2 News.